Shalom, 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 everybody. This is Ivan, the Trinity of Water, with another Preparation for a Purpose television show. So, today's show is about attention. And before we even begin, I'm going to humbly ask for your attention, please. Have you ever noticed before speeches, ball games, etc., they always ask for your attention? Now, think about that for a second. Why do they need your attention? That's because attention is the currency nobody talks about. Now, I was listening to something about melanin being worth more than gold. If you ever get a chance, you may want to check that out. I've heard about it before, but I kind of been off of it for a couple of years. But it threw me off of how much of a resource galactically, universally, that melanin is, globally, just period. And it made me begin to think about our attention. And it made me think on how complex sometimes things can seem. How when people come and they say, I want to take your soul, that's quite the statement. Now, whether that's possible to get your soul taken or to sell it, I don't know. But that's still quite the statement. And depending on your level of knowledge, that can also be a scary thing. But how the Spirit works with me sometimes is to take very complicated information and make it very simplistic. And to make it in its most simplistic form, it's a battle to steal your attention. Let me say that again. The battle is to steal your attention, because wherever your attention is, that's what you're watering. Where focus goes. So whatever you're focused on, that energy is going to flow. Where focus goes, energy flows. Literally. That's what you're watering. So take, for instance, your stars, so-called stars, and basketball players, just in general. If the millions or billions of people that made them famous took their attention away from them, would they be famous, or would they be someone you've never heard of before? See, that's why when people, it sounds cliche when people say, they make it big and they say, you are the ones who really made me. I'm nothing without my fans. But that's a literal statement. Now, whether they truly feel that way, I don't know. I could take a guess, but it's not for me to do right now. What I'm saying is, your attention is currency. When people start YouTube channels, when people start TikToks and just social media in general, and they begin getting a certain amount of followers, that's why people come out the woodworks to get in on it, because they don't only look at the attention that it's already getting, they project. See, it's people who project these things. They project how much attention you will get in the future, and they come after you. And what they want to do is quietly take a piece of that pie and kind of put a cap on some of the things that you're saying in some of your material. That's why a lot of people say no matter what, just don't sell out. Don't sell. And that's not judging people who do at all. Trust me, I can't judge anybody, anything, or anyone. I'm not qualified for it. But what that does is, it's no longer pure. It's tainted, like how they do our water. That's what they call me, the Trinity of Water. I'm big on water. We'll talk about that actually a little later in this show. but it's not at its purest form. So when you take something like a channel that's just beginning, and you might see 0 subscribers, 1 subscriber, 5, and you say, well, what could they couldn't know much, or I couldn't get much from this small, humble channel, because if it was some real information, they would have millions of people following them. That might be true in some instances, but also remember, the more people you get, the more that, let's call it, the unknowns try to dig in the purity of it. So just like a baby being born, from 1 to 7, you're in what's called theta mode. You're learning very rapidly. It's beautiful. It's when you're born, it's the purest state before you start getting tainted by a lot of the woes of the world. But we're not going to focus on the problem. I like to focus on the solution. But you do have to state the problem. So when your attention is going to places, in things, in people that don't have your best interests at heart, then what are you getting back in return? Meaning, it are the things that you're watching, the things that you are doing, the things that you are reading, do they have your best interest at heart? I love pork, but pork does not love me. It comes a time where we have to begin to love the things that love us. And nobody can love you like you love yourself. And people may say, oh, well, God, within. Within. Am I saying it's not God's a plethora that live without, or a universal source, a big mind? No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is we were sent to self-love, to learn in self-love. See, I told you I'm here for 2 things: the water and spread unconditional love, to teach about unconditional love. And the greatest is self. So when you put the attention on learning about the self, which also are the cells, you put your attention simply on learning about, let's say for instance, how the pineal gland. Do you see how that's a tree? Kind of similar to the tree of life. And when you water, this just a hypothetical statement, when you water that tree with your attention, putting energy on it blossoms. Like we have a garden within, and the more we water it, put focus on ourselves. I'm not saying don't spend time with your family and things. They love you. Well, at least I hope they do. But not like you need to spend on yourself, because when you become your best version, you can be the best version for them. So it's the best possible situation for everybody involved. When you spend time like natural medicine and cures, reading things like this is good for the body. The world's greatest treasure of health secrets. Things that are going to enhance your knowledge, enhance your overall health, which makes you more suitable for humanity. And by suitable, I mean just simply knowing who you are, because every time you are aware of something that's beneficial to you, you get more conscious. Awareness is consciousness. And the more conscious that you get, the more beneficial you are. The more effective you are. The better you will feel. So, I'm not here on my behalf. I'm here on the behalf of who sent me. If you get what I'm saying, I'm going to say it again. I'm not here on my behalf. I'm here on the behalf of who sent me to tell you, whoever you might be, and whoever needs to hear this, whether for the first time or for confirmation, put the attention on yourself. I'm a humble vessel. And I'm a humble vessel who knows whether I have no views, I know something in the right thing is going to see this at the right time. Or I have millions of views. The message does not change. The message does not change. The focus, this is a channel not to influence you. I'm not an influencer. I'm a promoter of self. Now, sometimes when I may share my story on my own behalf, I might want to change your mind, meaning the way your mind is designed. Sometimes when you hear information and you might be in certain situations where you don't listen to other people or things just don't make sense, and something I may say may help to do that, to literally, biologically change your mind. Now, that I do. But as far as influencing you, no, we're all books. We're all books. We're all here as on an individual journey. Yes, we have a spiritual family, a physical family, but we're still individuals, our own thumbprint, just like the universe, to share our stories. So when you try to influence someone, you're plagiarizing their book. I love you too much to plagiarize you, whether consciously or unconsciously. And when you put, again, back on that attention, when you put that attention on the self, when you put that attention on the sales, it literally grows. And as I was listening to Kobe Bryant a while back, and he was saying how the universe kind of just seems to open up like a library, and just everything that you're looking for, because you decided to learn more and more about yourself, your likes, your mission, the things that benefit you, that's necessary for you. You notice it just all opens up. It all opens up. And you learn the beauty of life and the beauty of people, not color, not creed or anything else, just of humanity, of the universe. A lot of my messages are not just for humanity, they're universal. We learn the beauty, just period. Because we're no longer looking up at people for people who do that, idolize them. Think about that, an idol. They call it like American Idol. It's putting something ahead of yourself. That's like a form of worship. Idolizing something. If you're going to idolize anything, idolize yourself and who created you. How do you know what you care about? That what you spend your time and your money on, what you put in your focus. That's currency. That's the currency no one talks about. That's what all the posters, all the marketing, all the stars, that it's all set up to get your attention and have it in a place for people who either despise you or definitely just don't care. You don't matter whatsoever. But to take that attention, take your money back from them and to put it where it needs to be. To bring it back to the spiritual family, to bring it back to the self. So you're taking back. So like when the Bible where it says taking back everything that the devil stole from me, that becomes quite literal. And when enough people do that, that's when enough people say, our kids who, I've never seen what tomorrow looks like. So when people say tomorrow, it hasn't been written yet, but the closest you get to that are our children. So they can have clean, real drinking water. No, water is not just water. Water is one of the most immaculate things known to the universe, known globally. Water is immaculate. Why do you think they tried to and start to deal with facts? Putting your focus, because when you're too distracted with the other things, you can't put your focus on what's important and what's right in front of you. Why are they tainting the waters in Michigan? What or who is in Michigan where that they're hoping that this water will kill, or they're hoping that this water will steal from, or they're hoping that this water can possibly destroy? Why do they spend so much money to poison us, to put certain things in the food? Why? Why do they do that? When are we going to stand up? Because it's so much power in unity, but they don't believe it could ever happen because it's a system designed on division. Religion, division. Schools, well, this person's educated, this person isn't, division. Finances, as far as how much money you have, your class, division. When do you get to the point where all that goes out the window and we just come together in unconditional love? I always put unconditional in front of love because that's the only real love. Love with no conditions. Yeah, I can love you as long as you serve the same God I serve. Now, I definitely have to say this. I'm not saying if you are per se Christian and somebody's saying I worship the devil and they're, doing harm or whatever they may be doing. No, I'm not saying hang around those type of people. But what I am saying is learn what the word devil means. Study etymology. Study what the word witch means. When you learn these words, what it does is it gives you power. So whether it's per se a bad thing, you have the power where it won't affect you. But what you might just find out, everything that you thought or was demonized might not be just what you thought. And what you find out, and I know I've definitely found this out in my studies, that most things are saying the same thing, that most things that are for your good are normally saying the same thing, just in different ways. But when you are judgmental towards something, whether consciously or unconsciously, you won't see that. You won't see it. That only comes with time focused on yourself. All categories of yourself. That is my message. That is my only message. But that's enough. It's so simple, not easy. It's a difference. It won't be easy, but it really is simplistic. We take back our attention. We're no longer worried about who the head is and idolizing people. We're one. We're equal. We're equal. See, let me give you an example. And then right before I end this, I'm led to give you an example. If I ask someone, what's more important, your head or your feet? Most will probably say, oh, my head. Well, I say both. They both have jobs to do. So if something is more important, so let's say the head got chopped off and put where the feet go, and the feet goes where the head go, you'll be falling all over the place because it wasn't designed for that. The importance comes from the design, not the position. Let me say that again. The importance comes from the design, not the position. So whatever your position or your role is in this life, play that role to the best of your ability, because nobody can play it like you. Because it was designed specifically for you. You just may have never took the time to read the script. So whether the world perceives you as the foot or the head, the beauty and the power comes from knowing your position, knowing your role, thinking of it like a big orchestra. And I always say our bodies, like our eardrums, heartbeats, we're like musical instruments, and we know the music to play. We're in unison. One, son, you're one son, in unison with the universe. One verse after verse after verse, making beautiful music. That is harmony. And it is simple. It is simple. I'm sure people might comment, well, it's not going to be that easy. People may think of millions of ways why that won't work. But I don't focus on that. I focus on what I want, not what I don't want. And when enough people do that, it literally is that simple. This has been Ivan, the Trinity of Water, with another Preparation for Purpose television show. And as I end every show, love.